I believe we're all fairly familiar with this metaphor of sand slipping through our fingers, symbolizing the relentless passage of time. But I feel that the picture it paints is quite flawed, or rather, how we perceive this picture is flawed. For perception of it tends to create this sense of urgency, of a loss of control, and of helplessness. Because you see, we fail to consider all the sand still left in our hands. A very good afternoon. My name is Bhutia. I'm a college freshman majoring in physics, and I'm simply delighted to be here to offer to you a solid shift in perspectives. I can see that the majority of the audience here, including myself, have hardly lived a quarter of our lives. It seems to be so that our wings have been clipped and a humongous weight fastened to our backs, devoid of choices to set the course of our own lives. However, I argue that there is another option. An option to peer beyond set boundaries and explore. An option other than mulling about our current situation. Why do I state that with such confidence? Well, recently I somewhat stepped out of my comfort zone and onto the ramp of a fashion show in my institute. It was one thing that I was stiffer than a mannequin up on the ramp. But what struck me the most was how both confidence and self doubt can coexist in every step that we take, influencing how we carry and present ourselves to the world. This other time, I found myself in the middle of a band competition. Not the best expression, I get that, so I think we should go back to the first slide. So, you know, it's one thing that, uh, you know, so one of my fonder memories from my first semester, I remember how amazed and equally overwhelmed I felt sitting amongst those talented musicians. It essentially expanded my field of view. Though music theory still remains no less than a mystery to me, uh, through conversations and shared passions, I learned of entire horizons and entire worlds that existed beyond my own. All in all, my fears are now a little lesser and my bubble a little larger. You see, we often think that we're too late to pick up a new skill or a new hobby. We feel that we're too late to try, and thus we stick to what we have been doing, never stepping out of this echo chamber that we subconsciously create for ourselves. However, I believe that we are at a golden and precious time of our lives, where we understand our interests and the corresponding efforts that these interests demand. We have this ability in us to readily discover new domains and frontiers while still holding on to our curiosity. And trust me, we still have that curiosity left in us. No matter how stoic you may think you are, I believe in some corner of our minds, some locked chamber of our heart, we still hold on to that wonder. I most recently and certainly felt it when I, for the very first time, looked through a telescope at the moon. Its off white surface riddled with bumps and craters, almost reminiscent of my pubescent skin. I also see that this is a crucial juncture of our lives because we still have that space, that wiggle room to make mistakes and forget about it the next day. We don't have the responsibilities and societal pressures that the grown ups need to be with. In these uncharted waters, we are free to experiment, come up with errors, and navigate our way through hurdles. Perhaps most importantly, we are free to grow, to learn from our failures, to gain wisdom, resilience, and confidence. I remember when I was preparing for this talk, I researched a lot, primarily by watching TED and TEDx talks given by speakers who were quite prominent, their LinkedIn pages brimming with achievements, and naturally, some of them talked about their journeys to success. And halfway through those videos, I realized that I couldn't really do that. That I had no grand tale that ended in a golden sunset. In fact, I don't even have a LinkedIn page yet. So I thought and thought of what I would talk about. And then, while watching the next half of the videos, it came to me almost suddenly and spectacularly that my grand success, which I so optimistically believe in, was yet to come. That my story was yet to be written. And what could be more marvelous than a blank sheet of paper waiting for the first blots of ink to hit its surface? I realized that with enough interest and determination, I still could do, or at least try to do, what all these prominent people had done, and more. I realized that I still had time. Furthermore, let me also state that I am of the strong belief that not every endeavor that we embark on needs to be with some grand plan that leads to some grand achievement. Some might be so, but others might just be to enrich your daily lives. To make sure we hold on to enthusiasm and wake up just as energized to start a new day. Merely because you enjoy trekking doesn't mean you have to conquer Everest someday. It's a misconception that is sadly quite rife. Such futile restrictions remodel our pleasant undertakings into dreadful ones that we find ourselves dragging our feet to. Let's embrace the joy of exploring without attachment to specific outcomes. And who knows, a hobby that you pursue merely out of joy might just become your unexpected calling, one that you are yet to find. I was recently attending an institute colloquium on astronomy a few weeks ago, and the professor, amidst all the jargon of supernovae, gamma ray bursts, and whatnot, he slipped in a very thought-provoking statement. He said, "If I were to tell you that you will die 5 years from now, the next 5 years of your life will be fuller than all the years that came before it." And with that, I leave the stage today, urging you all to pick up the adventure again. Whether it be a telescope, a guitar, or even a needle and a thread, and start taking risks, exploring. And as you leave the stage today, remember this, that sand, it's yours. Shape it, explore with it, and just maybe you'll end up with a magnanimous castle. To put it in a different way, I'd say don't take the wheel away from the old, rational captain of the ship, but just sometimes, maybe, give the enthusiastic private a chance. That has been my time. Thank you very much.